Do you see this fighting between Israel and Hezbollah growing even wider?
Well, I certainly see it continuing in Lebanon for sure. And the Israeli government has said that. One of the things that I've been saying over the last month or so is that the Netanyahu government is actually being very blunt and clear in plain English as to their plans. And so I wouldn't question what their intentions are. They said that they're going to continue for now. Things are going to escalate. And they keep talking about a ground invasion, and they're very public about that. So I expect things in Lebanon to continue and to continue for a while. But in terms of escalating further, on one hand, it's already, you've got the Houthis involved, you have Lebanon involved now. Obviously, things are escalating in the West Bank. We have Gaza already. I don't expect Iran to get involved, if that's really the ultimate question you're getting at. And that's because it's a very different calculation for Iran. Iran does not want to fight Israel, and certainly not the United States directly. That U.S. promise of defense of Israel serves as a very powerful deterrent. They would much rather have their proxies all in that area fight the war for them. It's not a loss for them. As it is, the Iranian regime is already suffering weakness at home. And so I don't expect this to be some kind of region-wide World War III, but I would expect this to go on for a while and to have its peaks and highs, lows, and right now we're in a peak.
I do want to ask you about Israel and its regional proxies. How are they positioning themselves at this stage?
The regional proxies are, well, for a while have been in a band together, kind of like a club of baddies. So you've had, after October 7, immediately after October 7, Hezbollah and the Houthis in particular are jumped at the cause in solidarity with their brothers in Hamas to attack Israel. And so that's what you've been having from Hezbollah in particular. They've launched about 8,000 missiles and drones at Israel, at the north of Israel, since October 8th, since before Israel even responded to the October 7 terrorist attack. And that's why you've had around 60, 70,000, 80,000, I've heard different numbers, Israeli citizens leave the north, been displaced, and Netanyahu wants them to return. They want to return. Netanyahu does not want that area to be empty. And so that's what precipitated all this response, is Hezbollah's constant lobbing missiles. On the Houthi end, they've really been kind of this bad, annoying toddler off to the side, but they've had some success as well. They had a missile fall just a week ago, something that in Israel that surprised everyone. They had a drone explode over Tel Aviv. But the U.S. has also been trying to intercept some of those missiles. But those proxies are activated. However, over this past 11 months, they have really quite been significantly undermined, particularly Hamas and Hezbollah, on their military capabilities.
Going back to Hezbollah, who is making decisions for the organization, the terrorist organization right now?
That's a very good question. The way Israel has lopped off the top brass has just been stunning to see. And by the way, the majority of Lebanese, I want to be very clear about that, because many of them are silent, but I know, because my family's Lebanese, I talk to all of them. They are happy to see these leaders gone. But as it is with all of these, there's always another thug to replace them. It's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole. So the leader being discussed most is one, Safieddine. He might be appointed to take Nasrallah's place, but that's not the same. I mean, you're talking about someone who doesn't have as much institutional knowledge. As it is, terrorist groups are very siloed, and so when you lop off the head, it undermines the operability of the rest of the organization, and certainly it's extremely demoralized right now, and they feel as though their every move, their every noise is being heard by Israel. And we can't underestimate the impact that has on their ability to give orders, to discuss, to plan, to strategize, to pursue those operations. We're going to see that play out for sure. We're already seeing it play out, but we're going to see it play out in terms of Hezbollah's response over the next few weeks.
Do you think Netanyahu is going to continue down this military route, defying the U.S. and its allies as they're demanding a ceasefire?
I do. I do, because he's been saying it. So right after the violence escalated between Israel and Hezbollah, when Israel, following the pager and walkie-talkie explosions, and then Israel followed up with strikes, the United States offered a ceasefire proposal right away. I mean, it took 24, 48 hours, and immediately Netanyahu shot it down. And because his message, and I believe, and this is my assessment, is that this war now, and I'm not sure if this is how it was viewed at the beginning for the Netanyahu regime, administration, the Netanyahu administration, but I believe that they view this as one of the big wars, the way you had 1948, 1967, 1973. These are wars that, regardless of their length, fundamentally changed the situation on the ground. And Netanyahu doesn't want to return to the status quo, the way things were before October 7.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.